Some of us believe that we've superseded nature because we can live in nice residential areas, have everything at our convenience, have a grocery store, have all these things. So we don't really see the importance of coming out here or being in nature in general. What's going on, everybody? So today, your boy just ran 2 miles out here in the woods. As you can see, wanted to do a video where I was actually doing something instead of just sitting at my desk and talking about things. But yeah, now y'all get to see some of the stuff I like to do, and it reciprocates with what I talk about. And what I want to talk about today essentially is how I stop being afraid of nature. And this might sound like really rudimentary and dumb to a lot of people, but I think it's a very important lesson to learn, especially the fact that nowadays most people are afraid of nature to some extent. Now, I'm not saying to not have any regard for nature or understanding of the power that nature has, right? But at the same time, you shouldn't fear it necessarily if you understand it, and if you understand your role within it, right? And I think that we've lost that, many of us as human beings. We have forgotten that we are also an animal. We have a higher potential for learning and have a higher capacity for, applying our knowledge than other creatures, but we are also a creature. And basically, it's the complex of the animal and the God that makes up a human being. And what I mean by that is essentially that our higher level of thinking, our higher consciousness is in fact, God in a way, God personified in our mind. And that basically allows us the gift to make complicated decisions and, use our judgment and things of that nature, right? Helps us think things through rationally and all of those things. But we also have the animal, right? And those are the things that no matter what you do, you can't run away from, right? Now, we know that the four needs of a human being, when fully developed as an adult, especially, and at every stage of life, but one of them being more so for adults, is food, water, sleep, and sex. Now, those things you can't run away. You could try to hide them. You could try to act like you don't care about one of them. And adults, y'all know exactly which one I'm referring to. You can act like you don't care about it at all, but the fact of the matter is that it's in all of our biology that is a necessity of our living experience, right? To some extent. Now, with that being said, as a creature also, we have, I'll say for some of us, it's more clear to have a desire to be out here in nature, to some extent. Whereas some of us believe that we've superseded nature because we can live in nice residential areas, have everything at our convenience, have a grocery store, have all these things. So we don't really see the importance of coming out here or being in nature in general, aside from maybe the beach every once in a while or whatever. But it's not the same as having a respect for it. So in any case, in the West, we believe that we've superseded nature and that nature is just like, whatever, it's just there for us to manipulate and do whatever we want with it. Abuse it, take what we want from it, and that's it. We have a rapist relationship with nature. We could take wherever we want from nature. We could put all these animals in a slaughterhouse. We can do all these things, but guess what? What we forget to put into perspective when we are doing these things is that nature cannot be sustained, and that is the blind spot of the God complex in that regard, at least. when we are confronted by nature, we fear it. When we confront an animal in the wild, the once in a million chance that you go out hiking and you see a snake, or you see an alligator, or you see a wild animal that has predatory instincts, you're automatically afraid, and that animal can sense it. Even wasps, or flying insects, anything, spiders, anything at all. Many people in the Western world, automatically, their first reaction is fear. Their first reaction is, this thing is gonna hurt me, it's gonna kill me, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, blah, 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 blah. They start freaking out, and the whole time, that animal, is sensing that you're afraid of them. So they're gonna do something because they don't know what you're gonna do when you're afraid. And that's how we have many freak accidents and all these things. And I'm not saying that if you're not afraid of nature, that animals won't hurt you. What I am saying is that they can sense, the way that you're feeling, the way that you're acting. So it's important to not have a fear of them and to see them as other entities, right? So for example, if I see a snake crossing my path right now, I would treat it just like a person walking in front of me. I wouldn't be afraid of him necessarily, because I'm minding my own business. They're minding their business. So, I don't see a reason for people to be afraid of nature, not just animals neither. Being outside in the rain, or eating wild fruits, that you recognize, obviously. I wouldn't recommend to eat something that you don't recognize, but just all these little things that people have slowly but surely just kind of subconsciously, these things are reactionary to fear of nature. And in reality, we shouldn't feel that way. We should feel, somewhat at home in nature, because nature is our home. It was, and it still is for many people, but for some it's not. So, what I recommend is people to stop being so afraid of nature, and to start to go out into nature and do things in nature, and to familiarize yourself and grant that understanding to yourself that you're a part of it and you shouldn't be afraid of it. There are many pictures of indigenous and tribal children sitting next to leopards, sitting next to all kinds of predatory animals, and they're not afraid. Neither is the animal. So, when a child has that understanding, it should tell you a lot about the human's role within nature, among animals, and among an environment that you are not familiar with in the modern age. We have an obligation to nature, therefore we should try and create and better our relationship with it. So even the smallest things, whether that's littering or any of those things, these things are aggressions against nature. And like I was saying earlier, when you treat nature bad, it's going to treat you bad. And to me, at this point in life, I'm not saying that I'm obsolete from anything happening to me out here, but it's never my first thought, because I understand that there is a sense of security when it comes to being away from everyone, when it comes to being outside all the time. So, it's important for us to develop this sense of security and to better our relationship with nature, so that we're not afraid of it, because we shouldn't be. And we should make our best effort to better understand it, and to treat other creatures as if they are what they are, which is another entity, and treat the planet as a whole, all the plants and things like that, with a respect for them. They all play an essential role to the real world. We're caught up in our fully systemic society, where again, we live in a nice neighborhood. We go drink Starbucks. We have everything at our convenience, so we don't really give a shit about anything else. We think that that's life, but in reality, it's not life. What life is, we're a bunch of humanoid apes on a giant green planet, with a bunch of other creatures, and we're floating in the middle of space in an ever-expanding universe. So, you know, if that's reality, we should try to handle it by the means of, you know, trying to help the real world. Okay. I know a lot of people are willing to sacrifice helping the real world for their monetary benefit, for money. And again, when it comes to that, when it comes to sacrificing nature for money, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about the world that we live in, that we're willing to, you know, cause as much harm as possible. Because the idea is not that you're not going to cause any harm if you live, especially in the Western world, but to minimize that and to grant yourself a better understanding of nature would only be of service, you know, would be a positive service for yourself and also for the planet. So, yeah, ain't no need to be afraid of nature. To me, animals, you know, I treat them all like they are sentient, you know, intelligent creature. I don't disrespect them unless I'm disrespected. Same way as if it was a person, you know. I don't go out of my way to hurt animals. If an animal wants to hurt me, I will do what I need to do to defend myself. But at the end of the day, I have a respect for that creature. I have respect for being out here. And because of that, I'm not afraid. And that's going to be all for today. But I appreciate you guys again. Like, subscribe, all of that, share. And hopefully, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.